Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to Jambareeqi Orange, the show where I let my patrons decide what I review. The options for this month's episode included LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special, Children of the Corn, The Witches, SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run, The Thief and the Cobbler, Miramax Cut, and Over the Moon. SpongeBob and his pet snail Gary are the best of friends, but when the evil Plankton kidnaps Gary and gives the poor mollusk to King Poseidon as a skincare remedy, SpongeBob and Patrick head off to the lost city of Atlantic City to rescue their shelled friend. I wasn't sure what to expect with this movie, considering that the last SpongeBob film felt like a fever dream acid trip, with a side order of apocalyptic madness. This third installment of the SpongeBob film franchise is quite frankly all over the place and wants to be a dozen things at once. The jolts between the narrative set pieces of this film are so alarming that the term whiplash would be putting it mildly. One moment it's a coming-of-age road trip story, suddenly it's a spiritual dream journey / horror western and part Snoop Dogg music video, and then it decides to be a casino comedy caper. And finally, we have a climax that can only be described as a Vegas-inspired courtroom drama with origin story flashbacks. Now, I'm all for new surprises in every scene in a film, it's what makes it exciting, and a movie can be more than just one genre if it wants to. Plus, obviously we're going to expect ridiculous nonsense when our heroes are easily distracted man-children. But Sponge on the Run gets to a point where it seems to be overindulging in the license to be silly and anarchic that comes with these characters. It's like every time when the film is posed with the question, this could happen in this scene, but should it? It answers with yes, every single time. I also felt a sense of deja vu while watching this movie. As unpredictable as the film is, there are things that are eerily reminiscent of the previous SpongeBob films. Our antagonist is yet another narcissistic and poor-tempered sea god. SpongeBob and Patrick go on a bender that leads to a hangover. There's a road trip adventure in the same vein as the first film, right down to an update for the Patty Wagon. SpongeBob and Patrick are threatened by a professional executioner, and the town of Bikini Bottom riot when there's no Krabby Patties for sale anymore. Look, I know that not every film has to be 100% original, I understand that, but it's quite concerning how often I was saying to myself, hey, hang on, I've seen this before in another SpongeBob film. In terms of comedy, the film is full of SpongeBob's usual absurdist humour and slapstick hijinks. It did manage to get a lot of big belly laughs out of me with its jokes, the highlight being when Patrick mistakes his keyboard for a phone.
Not remembering that exactly. Hello?
However, there were large gaps in the film in which I wasn't laughing. I can't say that this is the least consistently funny SpongeBob movie so far. Now, as many of you noticed, the animation for this movie is very different to a usual SpongeBob cartoon. While it's not the first time that the show has been animated into 3D, this style is still quite the jump from what we're used to. It's very doughy and sparkly animation, like a stop-motion film with glitter sprinkled on top. While it does retain the TV series' renowned cartoony expressiveness and exaggerated nature, something seems missing. Where's that ugly edge to the characters' emotions? As pretty as the movie is to look at, it's that clean freshness that sacrifices what makes SpongeBob so unique. Attractive audience appeal seems to be the film's primary artistic concern, and that means no matter how expressive a character gets, it's going to be polished up a bit. Even hungover Patrick and SpongeBob are easy on the eyes, which shouldn't be the case. Because look at them hungover in the first film. Don't get me wrong, it's a really beautiful and colourful film. The eye candy is bound to dazzle audiences, especially in the Atlantic City scenes, where glitzy glamour shines bright. It's just, like I said, missing something. The film's central message is friendship. It wants to celebrate the merits of having friends. On the one hand, its portrayal of friendship between SpongeBob and Patrick doesn't entirely match this sentiment. When they have more than one dramatic fallout scene, and their breakups stand out more than their bonding moments. However, I really like seeing the money-centric Krabs and grumpy Squidward admitting their genuine sadness over SpongeBob not being around. Especially Krabs, whose grief comes off as authentic and sympathetic.
And I'm not just talking about the money I'm losing with him gone. Okay, 50% talking about the money, and 50% talking about I truly miss the boy.
Aww.
I hate to admit it, but things just aren't the same without him.
These three making the effort to go save SpongeBob is where the film's message of friendship is at its strongest, because they seem wholeheartedly concerned with his well-being, while also retaining the personalities that we know them for. There's also a scene in which Poseidon comes to accept that he has no friends, and is very unpopular with his people. But SpongeBob immediately offers a hand of friendship if the king takes accountability and changes his ways. It's very wholesome, while also showing SpongeBob's brave side.
I don't have any friends!
Well, you got one now.
Really? Who is it?
It's me. I'll be your friend.
Do you mean it?
Although, as true as this is to SpongeBob's character, let's not forget that this king is a tyrant who executes his citizens. The film tries to throw in a body positivity message too, but it's kind of half-hearted when the movie also jokes how characters are trying to hold in their repulsion towards the king's real physique and appearance.
To heck with this chest plate and girdle.
Oh, wow.
Too far?
No, not at all.
Ah, you look great!
Oh, thank you. I find this so exhilarating. So age-appropriate. SpongeBob, few possess the courage to stand up to a powerful king.
So I think I should address one of the most criticised aspects of this film, that being the courtroom flashbacks. You see, when SpongeBob is in court, his friends jump to his defense, explaining their love for SpongeBob to the king through summer camp flashbacks. Many fans have been upset by these flashbacks because they retcon continuity of the TV show by ignoring how these characters met as adults. There's also been a quote by Steven Hillenburg suggesting that he didn't like the idea of SpongeBob TV spin-offs. And these flashbacks are actually a foreshadowing for a prequel TV show called Camp Coral that's coming out next year. Fans think that this is very insulting to Hillenburg. Now, I don't want to weigh in on this controversy too much, because research tells me that there's conflicting perspectives from those involved, and there's not much to go on regarding Hillenburg's exact feelings on the Camp Coral concept. Just some quotes from many years ago that we can speculate on. However, what I do dislike about this scene is how it feels like a TV pilot pitching session. As if the marketing executives at the Nickelodeon studio have suddenly taken the wheel of the script. Examples of SpongeBob's good-hearted nature didn't need to all come from the same timeline. But I get the impression that Nickelodeon had a corporate agenda. As sweet as it is seeing SpongeBob's friends gush over him, especially when his life is at stake and the film is committing to a message of friendship, I can't shake off the feeling that I'm in the audience of a business meeting. To conclude, Sponge on the Run has a lot of heart, energy and humour, but I also think that it's the weakest SpongeBob movie to date. I enjoyed it just fine, it's just that it left a lot to be desired. The film is mainly hanging on the charm of SpongeBob's popularity, abundance of celebrity cameos, and its colourful animation to entertain audiences. Its storytelling is all over the place in terms of structure, there's too many scenes reminiscent of other SpongeBob movies, the laughs aren't as consistent as usual, and the courtroom finale is a blatant excuse to set up a SpongeBob TV spin-off that many fans apparently don't even want. Sure, it's a decent distraction for kids stuck in quarantine during the pandemic, but being babysitter material isn't much of a compliment, especially when there's already a wide range of options for kids on Netflix. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to like, subscribe and share. So what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Orange? Well, that's entirely up to my patrons. The options for next month's episode are going to be very Christmassy. Claus, A Christmas Carol 2009, The Santa Claus, The Christmas Chronicles, Santa of Muscles, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. They all sound pretty festive, am I right? Now, don't forget that you have to be a patron in order to access this poll. What is a patron? Don't worry, I'll explain.
This is my Patreon. It's a site for my fans to support me financially on through a monthly basis. Those who donate are called patrons. Patrons can donate as much as they want and are welcome to stop donating anytime. In return for their generosity, patrons are given exciting rewards based on their pledge amount. These rewards include early access to my videos before they go up publicly on YouTube, behind the scenes content, their name in the end credits of my videos, a chance to request a review of anything at all, and much more.
Very excited to find out what my patrons want me to review next on the show. Cheerio, folks.